Donna Reed is famous for her roles in the classic Christmas film It's a Wonderful Life and the popular sitcom The Donna Reed Show. However, her influence extended beyond acting. She was also a significant figure off-screen. Known for her calming presence, many viewed Reed as the quintessential American mom, offering comfort during the turbulent 1950s and 60s when television became a refuge for many. In addition to her acting accolades, which include an Academy Award and a Golden Globe, Reed was a passionate anti-war activist. Her strong opposition to the Vietnam War resonated with the public and played a role in the larger anti-war movement, which many believe contributed to the war's conclusion and potentially saved countless lives. This is the remarkable story of how a girl from an Iowa farm became one of the most influential women in the world. The 1920s began with hardship for rural Iowans. Many farmers faced significant debt after overpaying for land during the war, struggling with crop surpluses and low market prices. Signs of hardship emerged as early as 1921, with some shops in Denison closing and others switching to cash-only transactions. On February 9th, a local newspaper reported the birth of a girl to Mr. and Mrs. Mullinger on January 25th, but this was incorrect. Donna Bell Mullinger was actually born on January 27th, 1921. When she was just over a month old, her parents, Hazel Jane and William Richard Mullinger, moved to William's childhood home in Denison Township. The Mullinger family's living conditions were similar to those of earlier generations, except they owned a car. They communicated with the outside world using a crank-up, battery-operated telephone. Their main source of heat was a living room furnace that burned corn cobs, coal, and branches, which could send warmth upstairs through a floor vent. The outdoor toilet was particularly unpleasant in the freezing winter months. Donna's bedroom was adorned with pictures of film stars like Greta Garbo and Clark Gable, as she dreamed of a glamorous life beyond Iowa. However, the only fan letter she ever wrote was to Anne Shirley, the young actress from Anne of Green Gables. By the time the 1930s arrived, all three Mullinger children were attending Nishna Batana No. 3, a rural school just a short walk from home. The school had basic features such as a recitation bench, desks, a small library, and a blackboard. Despite the primitive conditions, boys and girls shared a building where the quality of education remained strong. Rural students often outperformed their urban peers on mandatory 8th grade exams. The drought that began in 1930 and lasted nearly a decade brought dust, pests, disease, and despair. The Mullingers lost entire harvests to grasshoppers and had to euthanize their dairy cattle after they failed tuberculosis tests. When their pigs contracted cholera, William Richard Mullinger had to slaughter and incinerate them. No one was more affected by the Great Depression than the farm girl who would become Donna Reed. She was haunted by memories of livestock crying for water and watching neighbors leave with their few possessions in rickety cars. One poignant memory involved a girl from a neighboring farm who came to tell Donna they could no longer play together because her family was moving away. Donna expressed her confusion about where they were going. They were simply leaving, giving up. In 1934, when she began high school in Denison, Donna started to explore life beyond her family's 120-acre farm. With no bus service and often blocked roads in winter, she stayed with her grandmother during the week. During this time, Donna developed a growing interest in the performing arts, although movies felt out of reach. She considered a career in radio instead. However, her high school experience left little time for daydreams. Donna focused on her studies and graduated among the top 10 in her class in 1938. Donna Mullinger's journey to California is often misrepresented. Rather than driving an old car with just $60, she actually took a train, likely departing with even less money. Before she left, her mother advised her, "Continue being yourself, Donna. You can always be counted on to act like a lady." Once in California, Donna's life was challenging. Her 2 years at Los Angeles City College were filled with a rigorous routine. Observers noted her remarkable resilience as she juggled her academic studies with demanding work commitments that often exceeded 18 hours a day. At 18, she worked in the drama department's library, earning 35 cents an hour. Alongside her job, she took care of household chores and studied late into the night. By fall 1939, she was enrolled in 15 and a half academic units and worked 38 hours each week. Despite the exhausting workload, returning home was not an option. Her family lived 2,000 miles away, and she didn't have the money for a train ticket back to a town in Iowa from which her peers were eager to escape. She also felt the pressure of not wanting to disappoint her parents, which motivated her to persevere. That autumn, she excitedly wrote home about her first visit to the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer (MGM) film studio in Culver City. Donna was one of 9 Los Angeles City College students chosen by producer Carrie Wilson to provide feedback for a new Andy Hardy movie. During a 5-hour meeting meant to connect Hollywood professionals with real-life perspectives, Donna described the studio to a friend back in Iowa, saying, "The studio lot is so mysterious. All the buildings are tall, white, and close together, with very few windows. It felt like I was pinned in." The actors from the film series hosted a lunch for the students at the MGM commissary. Donna shared her excitement in a letter home, saying, "That was so much fun." Mickey Rooney appeared shorter and less charismatic than I had imagined, and he seemed quite nervous. Anne Rutherford is incredibly sweet and told us about her school. Cecilia Parker was also there, but I don't like her because she smokes and offered me cigarettes. I'm a non-smoker and plan to stay that way. She felt her heart race when Frank Sutton walked by, hinting at her future dreams that would seem unbelievable at the time. For just a few years later, she would star alongside Mickey Rooney in a Hardy film. By February 1941, Donna had completed her studies and returned to MGM, thanks to Bill Smith from the Feldman Blum Agency. Before finishing school, she had unexpectedly won a beauty contest, which caught Smith's attention. At MGM, she met Billy Grady, a famous talent scout known for discovering stars like James Stewart and Joan Blondell. He recognized her beauty and noticed her nervousness, trying to put her at ease by sharing stories about his time in Denison, Iowa. Surprisingly, Grady decided that Donna deserved a screen test, an opportunity typically given to more experienced candidates. He remarked, "It's rare to arrange a screen test for someone with no experience, but Miss Mullinger has the qualities we look for, and with some coaching, she could shine." 2 years and 7 months after leaving her Iowa farm, Donna shared exciting news with her family. She had signed a 4-year contract with MGM, starting at $75 a week, with the possibility of renewal every 6 months. At just 20 years old, she needed a judge's approval to finalize the deal in early April 1941. Overjoyed by her luck, she wrote in a letter, "Honestly, honey, I have to pinch myself every 5 minutes to believe it's true," and exclaimed, "I guess I'm just about the luckiest person alive." Unlike some newcomers at MGM who focused more on magazine shoots than acting, Donna was quickly cast in a film. She was selected for the role originally played by Jean Arthur in a remake of the 1935 movie Public Hero No. 1, which was now titled The Enemy Within. In early June 1941, she learned from trade papers that her name had been changed to Donna Reed without her input or even a courtesy call. Although she found this unfair and preferred her original name, Mullinger, she felt she had little power to contest it given her rapid rise in Hollywood, so she accepted the change without complaint. Promotion for The Enemy Within, which had been retitled to The Getaway, was already in progress, making it too late to revert to her original name. Donna later remarked that her new stage name sounded cold and unwelcoming, and she imagined Donna Reed as a tall, cool blonde. However, she would have to adapt, as Donna Reed was poised for greater success. The Getaway was not particularly noteworthy, except for introducing Donna Reed and Dan Dailey. In the film, Dailey played her criminal brother, who led a gang that disrupted defense plants and became the target of an undercover FBI agent. As expected, the FBI agent, portrayed by Robert Sterling, falls in love with Donna's character before ultimately having to kill her brother. After the film, Audiences showed their approval of Donna through feedback forms in the lobby saying, "Miss Reed is a comer." Donna herself considered The Getaway a fair B movie and felt her performance was satisfactory for a newcomer. In August 1941, she began a minor role in Shadow of the Thin Man. The ongoing popularity of the Shadow of the Thin Man series promised her greater exposure. Donna's public recognition grew slightly when Shadow of the Thin Man was released nationwide during Thanksgiving week. This fourth installment, while not the best of the series, centered around a murder at a racetrack and performed well at the box office. Shot in sharp black and white by William Daniels and featuring the usual witty style of William Powell and Myrna Loy, it showcased Donna as a fashionable secretary in a pillbox hat. Near the film's conclusion, Stella Adler, a drama coach in a rare acting role as a gangster's girlfriend, looks at Donna and disdainfully says, "Isn't she sweet?" By this point, Donna was already being typecast. While many prepared for their first Christmas since America entered the war, Donna was busy filming. From early December 1942 through April 1943, she completed 4 movies in quick succession: The Courtship of Andy Hardy, Moki, Calling Dr. Gillespie, and Apache Trail. Her schedule was grueling, with workdays extending to Saturdays. She once remarked that even Iowa farmers took more breaks. Donna's career could have progressed more rapidly at a different studio, but she fit well with the family-oriented films that Louis B. Mayer, who was described by a longtime colleague as a sentimental tyrant, preferred. Mayer viewed the MGM actresses as his daughters, as long as they never defied him. In 1943, Donna married makeup artist William Tuttle, but by 1944, their marriage was already on the rocks. Both Donna and William Tuttle were still building their careers, and like many young couples of that time, they decided to wait to start a family until after the war. They were concerned that while the studio was supportive, her contract might not be renewed if she became pregnant. Eventually, Donna did become pregnant, forcing them to choose between her career and having a child. They ultimately decided that an abortion was necessary due to the timing. William recalled the decision as straightforward, though it took an emotional toll on both of them. A significant moment in Donna's career was her role in The Picture of Dorian Gray, which was Hollywood's first adaptation of Oscar Wilde's story about a man's soul deteriorating alongside his hidden portrait. Although the film lacked major stars, it was notable for its literary quality and stylish black and white cinematography. Audiences were captivated by the brief color glimpses of Dorian's portrait as it grotesquely transformed with his moral decline. Donna's last film of 1944 was Gentle Annie, a well-crafted Western based on McKinley Cantor's novel about 2 charming brothers who commit train robberies with help from their mother, played by Marjorie Main. Critics had mixed feelings about the film's moral implications due to its sympathetic depiction of criminals. Some acknowledged its quality compared to typical Westerns, but this did little to advance Donna's career. Feeling the need for a more proactive representative, she hired Tony Owen, a dynamic agent who fit her needs perfectly. On January 8, 1945, as she flew to wars, Donna kept her thoughts private. The next day, she finalized her divorce from William Tuttle, citing irreconcilable differences. She briefly told the press, "This has been coming for a long time," but did not provide further details. This might have been her last chance to speak before experiencing a life-threatening event that shook her to her core. On the evening of January 9, she boarded a flight in El Paso. While waiting for takeoff, a military officer requested an emergency flight, and for reasons unknown, Donna was asked to give up her seat. Without protest, she complied, understanding that during wartime, such emergencies could be critical. After leaving the plane, she returned to the terminal to book her next flight. Realizing she couldn't fly until the next day, she arranged to stay overnight at a local hotel. Tragically, the plane she was supposed to be on crashed into a mountainside near Burbank in heavy fog, killing everyone on board. Already mourning her recent divorce, the shock of the crash heightened Donna's awareness of her own mortality. leaving her filled with awe and questions about her fate. Why was she spared? What was her purpose in life? Among all the passengers, why had she been the one chosen to leave the flight? The only people who could answer that question were now dead. As a firm believer in God, Donna saw this as divine intervention and felt even more determined to use her life to improve the world. Now, single Donna, like the post-war country, saw new opportunities. Her romantic life became increasingly intertwined with Tony Owen, her agent. She was drawn to his energy and good looks. Despite their differing backgrounds, temperaments, and interests, the attraction was strong. Donna found herself both attracted to and hesitant about Tony's advances. After he became her agent, they often disagreed about her career choices and scripts. It's unclear when exactly she fell deeply in love with him, but she admitted to longing for excitement. Tony, with his dark hair and rugged features, was undeniably appealing. Donna confided to a relative that marrying Tony might lead to unhappiness, yet she feared that not marrying him would leave her completely miserable. Director Frank Capra quickly decided that he wanted Donna Reed to play Mary Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. He had previously rejected Jean Arthur and Ginger Rogers for being too dull, but he recognized in Donna a mature and lasting femininity that was different from the bold characters he had directed before. He felt she had the ability to convincingly fall in love and remain devoted. This film was the most challenging role Donna had taken on. Capra pushed her to exhaustion, leveraging her perfectionist nature. At 25, Donna portrayed Mary Bailey at ages 18 to 40, which required her to sing, dance, and swim, skills she had not yet mastered. Neither Capra nor her co-star James Stewart could provide the support she needed. Years later, she reflected on the tense atmosphere on set, saying, "Everybody was looking for approval, but nobody was in a position to give it," and admitted, "I was terrified most of the time." In June 1946, Donna requested a brief leave from filming as she and her husband Tony were about to adopt a baby girl. Despite the film's eventual iconic status, It's a Wonderful Life received a lukewarm reception at the time, which disappointed the cast. James Stewart even felt that Donna was responsible for the film's shortcomings. After his war experiences, he had been questioning the value of acting and thought that having a young co-star was not appropriate for his reunion with Capra. However, Donna became celebrated in film history as Mary Hatch Bailey. By 1948, the film industry faced a downturn, forcing studios to cut budgets and staff. Unlike Lucille Ball and many others, Donna Reed managed to stay with MGM. With no immediate roles available, Paramount cast her alongside Alan Ladd in Chicago Deadline, reflecting the industry's shift towards narrative-driven films rather than expensive productions. This film was noted for its realism, contrasting with the idealized tone of It's a Wonderful Life. It was filmed on location in Chicago, using hidden cameras to capture sound and image simultaneously. In this film, Donna's character is already dead when Ladd's journalist character discovers her in a rundown boarding house, piecing together her life through flashbacks triggered by her diary. By this time, Donna had developed a loyal fan base, with fans attending her radio appearances and sending her flowers. Her activities were even featured in a fan magazine called Donna's Reader. In July 1949, she gave birth to her son Timothy, but soon after, she faced health issues when a virus affected her knees, leaving her bedridden for weeks. She later struggled with mobility and had to use crutches after suffering severe reactions to sedatives and procaine injections. She described her experience, saying, "Ray Milland's experiences in The Lost Weekend were mild compared to mine with Nymol. I not only saw things crawling on the ceiling, but I also felt like I was on a fast elevator, going through tailspins and loop-the-loops, clinging to the bed to stay there for 2 hours. It was an unbearable ordeal." By 1950, Donna was eager to return to acting, aware that her best opportunities might be slipping away. While recovering, she went through many scripts and realized that truly great ones were hard to find. By July, she signed a contract with Columbia Pictures and was reluctantly pushed into doing Saturday's Hero with John Derek, likely due to her husband Tony's influence, as he was working at Columbia as an assistant to studio president Harry Cohn. Tony seemed to have a favorable view of Cohn, who was known for his harsh business practices. In Saturday's Hero, Donna played the role of the aristocratic Melissa. The original script faced criticism from the Breen office because Melissa's close relationship with her controlling uncle suggested incest. To address this concern, director David Miller on Sidney Buchman was instructed to use specific postures, movements, and glances to emphasize their power struggle without implying any abuse undertones. The film also tackled corruption in college sports, which led Ivy League schools to refuse filming on their campuses. As a result, the filmmakers had to create the setting using various campus locations. Unfortunately, the film did not perform well at the box office, partly because producer Sidney Buchman was testifying before the House of Un-American Activities Committee about his past membership in the Communist Party. He refused to name others or invoke the Fifth Amendment, which led to picketing at theaters by unknown groups, causing frustration for Harry Cohn, who was unsure who to sue. Donna's next project was Raiders of the Seven Seas, a B-movie filmed far from any water. Before the film ended, she worked on Trouble Along the Way for Warner Brothers, starring John Wayne and directed by Michael Curtis. Although it wasn't classified as a B-movie, it still struggled to find success. Donna felt like her career was hitting a dead end, but a surprising opportunity was on the horizon. Few knew about her long struggle for a significant role. Later that year, despite slim chances and against her wholesome image, she auditioned for the role of the prostitute Alma in From Here to Eternity. During her audition, director Fred Zinnemann treated her like a mere prop. And then there was an uncomfortable silence. Donna later recalled that no one from Columbia even called to thank her. She had dyed her hair black for the audition, but had to bleach it afterward because Curtis preferred blondes for Trouble Along the Way. Months later, Cohn insisted she audition again with Aldo Ray, this time with black hair, and told her, "Don't ask any questions, just do it." After another period of silence, Cohn unexpectedly offered her the role of Alma late one Friday night in February 1953, instructing her to start rehearsals that following Monday morning. On the set of From Here to Eternity, Donna felt like an outsider, aware that her presence was largely due to Harry Cohn's influence. This made it difficult for her to connect with some cast members known for their fast-paced lifestyles and heavy drinking. Although Montgomery Clift was supportive, the atmosphere never felt welcoming to her. Her most challenging moment came during the final shipboard scene with Deborah Kerr, where she felt so intimidated during rehearsals that she almost left the set. This was the first time she felt overwhelmed by another actress's stature. Cohn focused the film's publicity on Donna, and by August, she appeared on the cover of Life magazine, signaling that something significant was happening. From Here to Eternity premiered that month and continued to attract attention throughout 1953 and 1954. Donna attended the New York premiere at the Capitol Theater, where her name appeared alongside Burt Lancaster's. The theater, which could seat nearly 5,000 people, experienced sold-out shows, setting records during its opening run. On March 25, 1954, she won an Academy Award for her performance as Alma. Every camera captured her triumphant moment when Walter Brennan announced her name, and she rushed from the back of the theater to the stage. Despite the acclaim, the time from May 1953 when filming ended to February 1954 when she received her Oscar nomination was filled with challenges. Donna described this period as agonizing. Her marriage to Tony became increasingly strained, and figures like Cohn, whom she described as a little dictator, constantly reminded her of their control. Donna Reed's career illustrates the industry's struggle to appreciate a leading lady who is beautiful yet intelligent, approachable yet strong, and feminine yet resilient. She truly stood out at a time when studios were eager to sign the next bombshell or sex symbol. Donna's later roles included Gun Fury, filmed in June alongside the rising star Rock Hudson. She saw this pairing as a sign that her career might be on the decline, as studios often cast actresses nearing the end of their prime with emerging male stars. Directed by Raoul Walsh, Gun Fury showcased the beautiful Arizona landscape and featured intense scenes of fistfights and rattlesnake attacks, but it lacked other noteworthy elements. Another low-budget Western, They Rode West, paired her with Robert Francis, a young actor gaining fame from his role in the Caine Mutiny. Sadly, he would later die in a plane crash. Like Gun Fury, They Rode West was well made but ultimately forgettable. At 33, Donna yearned for more meaningful romantic roles. She also desired another child, feeling the pressure of time. She had hoped to star opposite Kirk Douglas in Heaven Knows, Mr. Allison, playing a nun stranded with a Marine on an island. Just as her husband Tony was close to securing the screenplay, the owner unexpectedly decided to exercise his option, and the role ultimately went to Deborah Kerr. Donna also wanted to portray the Eurasian doctor in Love is a Many-Splendored Thing, a role she missed, although decades later, the film's title song would be played at her funeral. Donna's first project as a freelance actress was The Last Time I Saw Paris, a lavish MGM film filled with vibrant scenes. Although some parts were filmed in Paris and on the Riviera, she did not travel for the shoot. She played a strict American Puritan living in Paris with her submissive husband, caring for their niece, the daughter of her deceased sister, played by Elizabeth Taylor. The sister's death was caused by her alcoholic writer husband, portrayed by Van Johnson. While at MGM, Donna's career had been steadily rising, but as a freelancer, she realized her success depended on unpredictable factors like luck and personal choices. She declined a role in Around the World in 80 Days, believing it unwise to take on another ethnic character right after playing Sacagawea. Shirley MacLaine took on the part of the Indian princess and received widespread acclaim in what became the biggest film of 1956. Meanwhile, Donna appeared in Backlash, which was much less successful. The Benny Goodman story reunited her with cinematographer William Daniels, who had first worked with her on Shadow of the Thin Man. She then faced one of her most challenging film shoots, Beyond Mombasa, which turned out to be somewhat troubled. Filming in Africa was easier than during the earlier Traderhorn, thanks to MGM's established office in Nairobi. However, the harsh conditions caused discomfort and illness, leading to frayed tempers. The film's director, George E. Marshall, had a rugged style similar to John Ford, but lacked his talent. He often drank, revised, and meddled with the script. A reliable source revealed that Marshall treated Donna disrespectfully, embarrassing her in front of the crew. When he later tried to contact her in the U.S., she refused to speak with him and eventually barred him from being involved with the Donna Reed Show. Donna welcomed her daughter Mary Ann on May 7, 1957, after having longed for this child. At 37, she worried, though unnecessarily, that she might not have enough to offer her fourth child. Despite her enduring beauty, she sensed a significant chapter of her career was ending. Time is a relentless enemy in this business, and I don't want to keep fighting it for much longer, she confided. I'll leave that to Dietrich, Rogers, and Crawford. I don't have the energy to worry about every light and lens on the camera to maintain that dewy look. An important moment occurred when John Mayall, a vice president at Columbia, New York, noticed a photograph in Tony's office. The photo depicted a happy, windswept Donna on her Iowa farm. She was surrounded by her children and her younger sister, Karen, who were petting a lamb. This image convinced Mayall that Donna's real-life role as a wife and mother was ideal for television and film. He faced the challenge of persuading both Donna and the producers. The plan was for Donna to be portrayed in simple house dresses, mostly in a kitchen setting. Not exactly the typical environment for a major movie star. Initially, Donna thought Mayall's idea was a joke, but she soon recognized its true appeal. Thus, a photograph revitalized Donna's career for the second time. Choosing to title the show The Donna Reed Show was a bold move, as it was uncommon for women to lead television shows by their names at that time. In the show, Donna was to embody multiple roles: a wife, mother, companion, nurse, housekeeper, cook, laundress, gardener, bookkeeper, club member, choir singer, PTA officer, and scout leader, while also being cheerful, immaculate, and attractive. This role demanded a superhuman level of skill. She would lead a typical American family in a small Midwestern city, including her teenage daughter Mary, who was characterized as romantic and unpredictable, and her younger son Jeff, who was expected to be serious and intense. Finding an actor for the role of Dr. Alex Stone, Donna's husband, was challenging. From the beginning, Donna insisted on a male lead who commanded respect, rejecting the stereotype of the foolish sitcom husband and father. She even disliked the term situation comedy due to its negative connotations. Carl Betts, known for his work in Eastern theater, was a perfect fit with his blend of intelligence and subtle humor. His strong and straightforward personality complemented the petite Donna well. Despite her extensive experience, Donna felt nervous. She had never led a show before, had little experience in comedy, and had rarely worked with child actors. Additionally, she was co-owner of the production company, like Lucille Ball, and felt overwhelmed by the numerous details of the job. She also struggled with balancing her family and career, feeling guilty about leaving her 18-month-old daughter, Mary Ann, as the series began. The Donna Reed Show premiered at 9 p.m. on Wednesday, September 24, 1958. Critics were initially harsh in their reviews. One critic remarked, "Probably a nice family to live with, but you wouldn't want to visit them for laughs," while another sarcastically praised Donna as the best thing to come from Iowa since Herbert Hoover. After the fourth episode, a representative from Campbell's Soup called in. When Tony mentioned the poor Nielsen ratings, the Campbell's representative dismissively asked, "What's that?" and reassured them, "We don't care about the ratings. Keep working. Don't collapse." During a time when sponsors had significant influence, Campbell's support was vital. By late November, after airing 8 episodes, the show began to improve in ratings, which coincided with more positive reviews. A particularly favorable review from TV Guide came at just the right moment that winter, stating, "In an era when wisecracking, brash and brassy blondes infest the air like locusts, Miss Reed, corn-fed and wholesome, is as welcome as a late summer breeze through an Indiana hayfield." The show gradually won over the public without making major changes to its format or resorting to gimmicks. Despite pressure from the network and studio, Donna insisted on keeping the show authentic to everyday family life, similar to the one she might have lived had she remained in Iowa. Over 8 seasons and 274 episodes, Donna Stone became a comforting presence on American television, establishing herself as a beloved figure in homes, much like real mothers. In 1967, she received a heartfelt letter from a viewer, which she kept in her scrapbook. The letter read, "I've always pretended in my heart that you were my mother because you're so pretty, understanding, thoughtful, warm, kind, and gentle. Qualities I've never had in a mother and desperately needed during 5 difficult years." After filming her final episode, Donna reflected, "I'm glad to have completed this 8-year chapter of my life. I spent 8 years at MGM, 4 years at Columbia, and 4 years at Universal. I wonder what the next 4 or 8 years will bring." At 45, she enjoyed the luxury of sleeping in and starting her mornings slowly with 2 cups of coffee, feeling exhausted after being continuously busy since she was 17, balancing college, work, filming, and raising a family. However, the gentle farm girl was about to take on an unexpected role in this new phase of her life. In 1966, as the Vietnam War escalated, the U.S. shifted from an advisory role to active combat, resulting in nearly 100 American soldiers killed in just 1 week that April. By summer, troop levels in Vietnam reached 125,000, with 35,000 new drafts each month. Donna was deeply moved by the war coverage. "I sat and suffered silently, but felt completely paralyzed, except for voting," she later shared. That year, she voted against her friend Ronald Reagan, who was running for governor of California as a Republican. She expressed her concerns to Reagan about his harsh criticism of young anti-war protesters, to which he replied indifferently, "But that's what people want to hear." Donna was particularly shocked when he suggested using all technological resources, including nuclear options, to resolve the Vietnam conflict. She felt the GOP was shifting too far to the right for her liking, yet she remained a registered Republican to strategically oppose more extreme candidates in the primaries. As her sons approached draft age, both resisted without any pressure from her. Tony Jr.'s deep distrust of the government prompted Donna to reconsider the U.S. involvement in Vietnam. Initially, she thought he should serve in a non-combat role, but he convinced her of the moral contradictions in that stance. Even as a conscientious objector, he experienced significant stress, leading to high blood pressure. Timothy, younger by several years, tried to stay in college while facing constant scrutiny from the draft board. "It was a time of great pain for all of us," Donna later reflected. After much thought, she joined a Beverly Hills group called Another Mother for Peace, despite criticism from those close to her who labeled the group as radical or feminist. Aware of Tony's strong disapproval, she recognized that women could play a crucial role in ending the war. The organization, founded in early 1967 by 16 women at Barbara Avedon's dining room table, quickly grew to a national membership of 285,000. Donna eventually became a co-chair. This group of mothers was composed and rational. They did not march, picket, or resort to name-calling. Instead, they sent numerous well-researched letters to Congress, advocating for peace. Donna's dedication to the anti-war movement intensified, and she actively supported congressmen who pushed for cuts to war funding. She poured her energy into the campaign of Representative George Brown of California during the 1970 Senate race. Brown ran in the Democratic primary against John Varick Tunney, but lost, failing to challenge the incumbent George Murphy. Donna hosted fundraising dinners for Brown and co-chaired his campaign in Southern California. His defeat left her feeling exhausted and disheartened. She criticized the Democratic establishment for choosing John Varick Tunney, whom she called a standard plastic war hawk, over George Brown, whom she admired for his integrity and excellent voting record. As 1969 ended, the Owen family experienced major changes. In September, Donna and Tony decided to divorce. Later that month, their son Timothy, feeling out of place in society, impulsively married a woman who reminded him of Bridget Bowe. In November, their daughter Penny got married and moved to San Francisco, and during the same week, Tony Jr. left their home on Alpine Drive. This left only Donna and her daughter Mary at home. During this time, Donna became heavily involved in activism with Another Mother for Peace. In the fall of 1970, a person from the Midwest discovered a map in a niche publication showing large oil reserves off the coasts of Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. This raised concerns about the true motives behind American foreign policy and the pursuit of oil profits. Donna and Dorothy Jones, who had experience in the Office of War Information, spent months researching the issue. They explored lesser-known publications and consulted experts from Stanford, UCLA, and the Bay Area Institute. It seemed that the South Vietnamese government was about to grant offshore drilling rights, and American oil companies were eager to seize these opportunities. Donna suspected that President Nixon had strong ties to the oil industry. She told a friend, "It's a big, bad, ugly picture. We are gathering hard-to-find facts. Did you know oil companies keep dossiers on all office holders and anyone who speaks against them?" By the winter of 1971, Donna and Dorothy had compiled their findings and published them in the Another Mother for Peace newsletter. The headline asked, "Are our sons dying for offshore oil?" They posed a challenging question to readers. Are we supporting the unpopular Thoai regime just to let U.S. oil companies secure offshore oil leases? Donna privately believed this issue was crucial to understanding the ongoing delays in ending the Vietnam War. She clarified, publicly, "We haven't accused anyone of going into the war for oil. We just want to ensure we're not forced to stay in Vietnam because of it." Oil companies have managed to turn Vietnam into one of the region's major oil-producing countries. Despite the war's outcome, Donna Reed's strong opposition to the Vietnam War was well known across the country. Her friends were surprised when she began dating Colonel Grover Woodrow Asmus, a military advisor who had served in Vietnam. He first noticed Donna at a birthday party for architect William Pereira. The room was crowded, and there were no formal introductions initially. The colonel didn't recognize her at first, but couldn't help but look her way until she waved, pointing out that she wasn't wearing a wedding ring. Grover, a divorced man and senior to General of the Army Omar Bradley, expressed his interest to Mrs. Bradley, who then contacted Donna to arrange a meeting with the general. This was in 1971, and from that point on, Grover proposed to Donna nearly every day for 3 years. On one occasion, he sent her 500 birthday cards from various locations. Donna felt comfortable with Grover, seeing him as a mature and worldly partner, though she was cautious about remarrying. She recognized that everyone has flaws and wanted to understand his fully, especially since they had differing views on the Vietnam War. Grover later described Donna as someone who opposed foolish political decisions but was not anti-military. However, even in 1972, Donna acknowledged that their differences were heightened by the ongoing peace negotiations regarding the war, and she knew it would take time to address these issues. One evening, while dining at Ira's restaurant on Westwood Boulevard and waiting for their friends Delmer and Mary Lou Daves, Grover playfully said, "It's time for my daily exercise. Will you marry me?" Donna finally agreed, joking, "You've worn me down." "Yes, I still haven't found your dark side, but I think I can handle it when it shows up." They married on August 30th, 1974, at Donna's home, with only close family and friends in attendance. After their honeymoon at the Bel Air Hotel, they split their time between Los Angeles and Seattle, where Grover worked for Alika Pipeline Service Company, contributing to the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. This represented a significant change for Donna, who had previously been an anti-war activist critical of the oil industry, now married to someone employed in that sector. Grover's influence appeared to revive her moderate conservative views, leading her to soften her earlier strong opposition to big oil. After reviewing the safety plans for the controversial pipeline, Donna remarked, "While I doubt we need that oil, I frankly think the pipeline can be done safely, from an ecological perspective." The pipeline ultimately had a considerable impact on the environment and the native communities living on a nearby island in Washington. Donna distanced herself from another mother for peace and turned her attention to the stock market, where she impressed her brokers by successfully trading options while many other investors faced losses. This new venture required constant attention, but was manageable from anywhere. In April 1977, eager to escape Seattle's persistent gray weather, Donna was happy when Grover was transferred to Irvine, California. They bought a beach house in Corona del Mar, where she planned to spend her later years. During the 1970s, Donna gradually considered a return to the film industry. She initially wanted to produce a feature film about a grandmother in Creole country and a documentary on Icy, the last member of his California tribe. However, plans for a reunion of the Donna Reed Show fell through. In July 1977, she reached an agreement with Columbia and ABC to create a serious drama inspired by the Donna Reed Show. They had a theme and a writer on board, but the project stalled when Donna learned that Carl Betts was dying of lung cancer. This news was a shock, especially since he had seemed healthy during their lunch just a month earlier. After Carl passed away in January 1978, various scripts were developed, but the reunion series never happened without its central figure. 5 days before Christmas in 1982, Donna began filming Deadly Lessons. Initially, she struggled to connect with her role as a strict headmistress at an elite girls' school. She noted the decline in television production quality since her earlier career, commenting on the poor working conditions and tighter schedules. She felt that the attention and care given to her previous show felt like a luxury from a bygone era. In late spring of 1984, she received an unexpected call from the producers of Dallas. Breaking her usual routine, she attended an interview and impressed the team, who had already considered and rejected 500 other candidates. In early June, she agreed to play the matriarch of South Fork. The intense media coverage that followed raised expectations, making Donna nervous. Headlines like, "Donna Does Dallas" were everywhere, and the media hype ensured a large audience for her debut as the new Miss Ellie. In classic 1980s soap opera style, Miss Ellie returned looking completely different, transformed into the glamorous version of Donna Reed. Although she looked great in photographic tests, the actual filming conditions were different, and Donna was unhappy with her appearance on screen. She confided to a friend, "It is a gentleman's agreement when you and the producer and cinematographer agree on the result of a test, which should not be broken, and never has been in my experience until now." The situation worsened when the Dallas team inaccurately blamed the cinematographer, who revealed he hadn't been allowed to shoot her in the same way as during the tests. By early 1985, although her filming conditions improved, her screen time was significantly reduced. Viewers began to notice her absence from major storylines. Despite rumors that she was acting like a diva, Donna was actually a dedicated professional who simply disliked being misled. While on vacation in Paris, Donna received an unexpected call from her agent, Wilt Melnick. He had just had lunch with the producers of Dallas, who informed him that she had been let go from the show. Puzzled, Donna asked for clarification. Melnick gently explained, "They fired you." Shocked, Donna questioned the decision, especially since she had 2 years left on her contract. Melnick revealed that no specific reason was given. Donna described the feeling as if a trapdoor had opened beneath her, causing her to fall and spin out of control. After 44 years in the industry, she felt betrayed that the producers didn't directly inform her, even though they knew her whereabouts. The news spread quickly. By the next day, European media were covering her termination. Lorimar stated it was due to declining ratings, a claim Donna knew was inaccurate, as episodes where she had a larger role had performed better. Humiliated, she wanted to fly home immediately, but Grover encouraged her to stay and find some relaxation despite the media frenzy. To make matters worse, Paris was cold, and Donna was still recovering from the flu. While crossing the street, she was knocked down by a motorcyclist who stole her purse, leaving her without her passport, money, and personal belongings. The summer of 1985 was filled with court hearings. Donna's lawyers sought an injunction to prevent any other actress from taking on the role of Miss Ellie, which was widely misconstrued as a move to stop the entire production. However, in June, a judge denied the injunction. 3 months after her firing, Donna and Lorimar reached an agreement wherein Donna would receive her regular salary for the next 2 years while being free to work elsewhere. Donna found this resolution fair and was satisfied. However, her health deteriorated due to stress. In a letter written in late July, she expressed how awful she felt, attributing it to the stress of the past few months and the challenges of the previous year's work on the difficult show. She experienced stomach issues, and by September, a specialist suggested she had an ulcer. Despite her health issues, Donna tried to maintain normalcy at home, but soon after, she experienced severe symptoms. Grover rushed her to a specialist, who directed them to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Following a CT scan and ultrasound, doctors discovered a cancerous mass on her pancreas. On October 31st, doctors informed Grover that Donna had about 6 months to live. A surgical procedure was performed to ease her discomfort. A few days after the operation, the surgeon informed Donna about her pancreatic cancer, but did not label it as terminal, allowing her to hold on to a glimmer of hope. Despite feeling more fatigued, Donna always kept her composure, appearing well-groomed and neatly dressed in her robe. She made an effort to uplift those around her. By December, her health was deteriorating quickly, but she remained mentally sharp, She expressed her frustration with moments of confusion, stating, "I just hate it when I can't think clearly." On December 20th, news of her illness was shared publicly. Around this time, her doctor informed Grover that she had even less time than they had initially thought. On the evening of January 11th, Tony Jr. visited, and they watched a game show together. After the show, Donna mentioned she was tired, and they said their goodnights. "As I walked out of the house that night, I knew it would be the last time I would see my mother. I also realized that she knew it too. I sat in my car and cried," Tony Jr. recalled. The next day, Sunday, Donna met with the local Presbyterian minister, worried about finding a birthday gift for Shelley Fabares. That evening, she had her last phone conversation with her daughter Penny, telling her, "You've been a wonderful daughter." On Monday morning, as Shelley was traveling to Canada with Mike, she stopped by but didn't see Donna. "Give her this rose and tell her I love her," she asked Grover. Later that day, Grover took Donna to the doctor's office, where she seemed a bit more energetic. Grover had a board meeting for the West Point Society that evening, and when he returned, Donna's condition appeared unchanged. However, on January 14th, a nurse came to the doorway and told the family, "I think we lost her." Donna passed away just 2 weeks before her 65th birthday. Her grave, marked by a simple stone, is located just a few feet from Natalie Wood's. Nearby are the memorials for Darryl Zanuck and his wife Virginia, and almost directly north, aligned with Donna's final resting place, is the vault where Marilyn Monroe's remains are kept. During her peak on the Donna Reed Show, Donna Reed embodied the ideal American mother at a time when studios were focused on the most provocative female stars. She defied the trend, becoming a unique figure, beautiful yet wholesome, kind, grounded, and incredibly hardworking. She proved her talent alongside the best, especially in From Here to Eternity. Few actresses have inspired as much genuine warmth and affection from their fans as Donna Reed, and although her life was cut short, it seems fate had a greater purpose for her beyond that doomed plane.